We are joined right now on the telephone. Simon Derrick is with us, and Simon is the Chief Currency Strategist at Bank of New York Mellon. He is joining us from London. Simon, glad to have you with us. We finally got this headline that we've been waiting for here. Papandreou saying that Greece needs to activate the EU mechanism. So not a surprise, as our reporter in Athens was just telling us. But now what, Simon? I mean, there were rumblings that the EU and the IMF don't exactly agree on what to do next.
Well, I think you're absolutely right to characterise this as not being a great surprise to the markets after yesterday. Clearly, we had reached that last resort where it was almost inevitable that the trigger was going to be kicked in. What is slightly odd, actually, was that the EU already, it seems to be slightly signs, might have been caught off guard by the pace with which this has happened. Only yesterday evening we had the EU Monetary Affairs Commissioner talking about this possibly happening in 2 weeks' time. So they perhaps aren't taking it with the degree of urgency that either the markets or indeed Greece are taking it with. So I certainly think that there could be some surprises here with regard to how the EU and IMF get together and handle it, or indeed, however, even within the EU, for example, we don't quite certain how this will all pass through the German Parliament. But you know, in my heart of hearts, I think that they're going to get the money, and I think they're going to get the money quickly.
Simon, I mean, I'm looking at the reaction right now in euro-dollar, and it's not moving that much. That is to say that we had the dollar moving slightly higher versus the euro for about the past hour, and there's not really much of a tick. So it's just this proves that the market was not surprised. I mean, what is going to move this cross next?
Well, unfortunately, I think that what's going to move this cross next is as people start to consider that really all we're doing here with this aid package is essentially making sure that Greece can pay its bills. And I think, in fairness, the market had largely come to the conclusion that that's not the big issue. The big issue is there anything going to come along that can fundamentally solve the problem that got Greece into this hole in the first place? And unfortunately, the problem that they face is that they become increasingly competitive over the last 10 years. They have this phenomenal debt burden, which is going to be hanging over them for a long period of time. The austerity packages, the deflation they're going to go through is just going to be horrific.
So, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I mean, does the market care who pays more, whether it's the IMF or the EU? I mean, we have to remember, we don't really know a lot about the structure of how this aid plan is going to be put into place.
Well, and I think you're absolutely right. You know, the problem is I don't think that they do, to be quite honest. And again, this comes back to what I'm saying, that it's surprising how relaxed the EU and IMF seem to have been about getting this aid package together. We've known there's been an issue since February. Here we are in late April, and we still don't know the exact details of how these things work through. It doesn't speak of great coordination taking place.
Sure. Simon, we thank you so much.